I'm Dave Wiesdock, Sage of Creative Scaffolding.
And I'm Jen West, Professional Rebel of Delight.
And this is Shadow Casting. Hey Jen, how are we doing today?
Doing great, having so much fun.
Oh, I love it. I went on a walk the other day and I've really been enjoying going on these walks with my dogs and watching them because they're just so present and in the moment. Any sniff, any whiff that they get, they're like following, and they just love being outside. And so I was like, what would that look like for me if I was just truly present while I was walking? And it was this really fun exercise. And I realized like how beautiful the world is around me. We always say that the world's a beautiful place to be in and that there's all these things that we can appreciate, but there's just this different level when you actually take a step into that and just sit with it. And as I was doing that, it reminded me of this quote that I read a long time ago by Henry David Thoreau. And he, I believe, is one of the transcendentalist writers, with like Ralph Waldo Emerson and Walt Whitmore. Whitman. Thank you. Walt Whitman. And I feel like their appreciation of nature and how they connect that into their poetry and their writings really kind of has the depth of that experience. They, especially Henry, like he went out to Walden and wrote a whole book about it, just about being present in nature next to a lake. When you really think about that, that is one of the most mundane things you could write about, but it is so poetic and charged because there's so much life in what he writes because he's in there present with it. So all that to say that I love Henry David Thoreau, and I realized we haven't really shared a quote from him yet. And so I thought that this was a really fun one for us to share, especially with the guys of shadow casting.
I'll bring it on. I love everything associated with nature. And I'm always impressed by the poets being able to take that thing that I love and feel, but can't put into words. And then they put it into just this profound, beautiful word. So hit me with it.
Yeah. Here's the quote. It's the beauty within us that makes it possible for us to recognize the beauty around us. The question is not what you look at, but what you see.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I like that one a lot because it really brings in perspective and the way you look at the world and coming from the inside out, which is everything we try to do at shadow casting. What are you bringing from the inside out of you?
Well, yes. And especially for that first part, it's what are you casting outside of you? What are you cultivating within that's coming without? Because our external lives, and I've always believed this, is a representation, a caricature of what's going on in the inside. They often say if you feel stressed and sick or disorganized, the best thing to do is go clean your house because that energy of kind of cleaning your space around you kind of helps clean the space within too. Yeah. But I really love this quote for the second half, which is, it's not what you look at, but it's what you see. I can look at a tree. And like I was saying on this walk, I can look at the sky, the sun, the sunset, and we can all look at the same thing and see something different. It can speak to us on an emotional level or a deeper level differently. That really encapsulates the philosophy of this podcast for me, because a lot of what we talk about are these really challenging psychological, spiritual, self-growth concepts that can get really nuanced and meaty and deep. And when we look at all these things, it's not really about what it is on the outset. It's kind of like what it brings up within us, what we see. And so that's why this quote spoke to me a lot. It's really this nuanced mindset shift of being able to be present and to actually see, not just with our eyes, but with our whole body, with our whole experience, and taking that in and coming from this different space of being.
Yeah, it's what is it? I'm thinking about it's not deja vu where you see something several times or something you've seen before you see again. It's like almost vujade, seeing something you've seen a million times, but in a new way.
Yeah.
And so it's new again and bright and alive. And that's a powerful thing to have, where the mundane, your everyday life, and all of a sudden you just look at it and it sparks emotion and life and power and beauty. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I think one of the tenets you and I like to talk about a lot is perspective. And I think that's where this comes in. It's having that unique and shifted perspective. It's turning something on its head and looking at it differently for the first time, challenging our conceptions a bit. I really love this quote. And here's the other thing. This quote is so positive to me because it's about beauty. And we've done a podcast on priorities. And so, we talk about these one word things, and beauty is a great example of that, where beauty can mean beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right? That's really what this quote is a play on. But I really think that this takes that next level of not only is beauty in the eye of the beholder, but what is beautiful can be different from one person to the next, even if you're looking at the same thing.
Yeah. And I think it also brings to mind the idea that if you're looking at something and it's not beautiful, or how could you make it beautiful? How could you see it differently and like it? I know you can imagine, I don't know why this popped into my head, but a toddler misbehaving in a supermarket and the mom or the dad trying to be kind and open and embarrassed and not shake and kill their kid. And you could be like, that's so annoying. Why don't they have control of their kid? And sometimes I just smile because it's the kid trying to take control of its world and the parent trying to be loving and still get stuff done. And I have so much compassion for both in that moment. And it's just the way of looking at it. It's either annoying and the kid isn't being raised right, or it's, that's life.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that toddler's supposed to do. And good luck, Mom. I feel for you. I've been there,
Yeah. Taking that another way, it's recognizing the nature in the kid. That's his nature. Toddlers' natures are to kind of act out and be a little bit of a nuisance sometimes. That's just who they are. Terrible twos are that for a reason, right?
They're really there. No, I think one of the most profound things, I don't know why kids are on the mind today, that I ever read was your kid is supposed to start lying at a certain point. And it's a developmental stage where they realize you don't see all that they see. It's a growth process. And so they start fibbing to see what they can get away with because you don't see everything they see. And it's a good thing. And to allow that to be a good thing, still not allow it, but not hate your kid. Why have you become this horrible person who lies? Right. No, it's a new stage of their world.
I love that. So the last thing I would say on that then is, again, it's not what you look at, it's what you see. You can still recognize that there's for example, in that case, a behavior that is inappropriate, but you can still recognize the beauty in it of that's just the nature of that kid. And it's a really weird perspective to have on that. Again, it's this kind of mindset shift.
Yeah.
But, I'd love to hear from our audience. Where do you find beauty and what is beautiful to you? Maybe that's unique to you. Everyone kind of has some things that are unique to them, that are beautiful to them, that they appreciate because that's true to who they are, to their being. And I think that's what this quote speaks about and why I love it so much. It's about honoring what you see and what's beautiful to you on the inside. Because when you honor what's beautiful to you on the inside, that makes the world around you more beautiful too. It's kind of like you create your own reality in that way.
Oh, I have nothing to add to that. That was
perfect. Well, then in that case, make sure to like, comment, subscribe wherever you're listening to, and give us a share. We'd love to, grow our audience and hear more from those who are listening.
Until next time.
See ya.